Hello students, here we have the purple Module 1 Ratio and Proportional Relationships review sheet. So this is going to be the answer key. So as I go through, I'm going to go over every single problem, and problems that you need questions for, you can always just fast forward, or if you need to see it again, go ahead and rewind. So literally I'm just going to go over every single problem here. So starting with number 1, reading for the gist, how many cups of milk are needed for each cup of water? Okay, so we need milk per water. Okay, and as we've talked about before, I feel that's very important to help you make sure, because the only way you're really going to mess this up is if you do it backwards. So we need milk, 2/3, over water, 1/5. Okay, if you wanted to challenge yourself and do this by hand, you would do 2/3 divided by 1/5. Although I know most of you are just going to use the calculator, so. But this will come out to be 3 1/3 cups of milk per cup of water. Alright. Which shows a sign of proportional relationship in the pricing of the cucumber? So we've already seen this problem before, but basically proportional relationship, we need the same unit rate. So we'll think of this as like an XY table. And remember, we always want to do Y over X. So 250 divided by 5 would be 50 cents. 4 divided by 10 is 40 cents, so it's not A. Right? 2 divided by 5 would be 40 cents. 4 divided by 10 is 40 cents. 6 divided by 10 is, and I'll just do that one quick, 60 cents. So it is also not choice B. Moving on to C, 250 divided by 5 is 50 cents. 450 divided by 10 is 45 cents, so it's not C. So really it must be D, but let's check it just to be sure. This would be 30 cents, 150 divided by 5. $3 divided by 10 is also 30 cents. $6 divided by 15 is actually, I messed up. Going back up here, I had 6 divided by 10. That's why. It's 6 divided by 15. That's 40 cents. And then 8 divided by 20 is also 40 cents. So the answer is actually B. That's what I get for going fast. Because I did this one and it was 40 cents right there. All right. Okay, moving right along. All right, number 3. A couple of you already got a look at this and had questions on this one immediately. And a lot of it has to do with it. You have your, remember, it's this y equals kx thing, where k is your constant of proportionality. All right, so this 45 cents is your constant of proportionality. So if we were using y and x, it would just be 0.45x. Right? So now, when you start looking at your choices, all right, you should be able to at least get rid of those two, just because of the simple fact of we were not adding that unit rate. There was no plus signs in any of these equations that we did. But to determine which one is y and which one is x, so if you think about your y over x, and this is cost per pound, so cost over pounds, that means that y is going to be your c, and x is going to be your p, so this should be c is equal to 0.45p, which is choice A. Also, this video may be longer than videos that we normally watch. So, all right, number 4. We already saw this problem, but 2/15, they give you miles per minute in 1 hour. And the best way to do this, I think, and I wish I would have showed you this to begin with, is just to make this out of 60, because 60 minutes in an hour, put an x here, cross multiply, divide, you get 2/5. That's probably the quickest way to get to that. 20 minutes, but an hour is 60 minutes. All right. Number 5. Okay, we have a scale. 1 inch equals 30 feet. Okay, I would immediately write that down. It's a proportion. What is the actual height of the building in feet? So the height is the 1.25. 1.25 goes on top. X goes on the bottom. Cross multiply, divide. Your answer should be C. Okay, I'm going to breeze through this because I know you guys can handle that piece. So, all right, number 6. What is the constant of proportionality shown in the graph? Remember, this is one where you got to find the nice crossing points. Okay, the nice crossing points. So, no, that's close. But right there is a nice crossing point. And remember, we're looking for y over x, so we need the coordinates. So this would be 0.7 and 0.3. Okay, and you would do 0.3, the y coordinate, divided by the x coordinate. And we've already seen this problem before, but let me just go through it again. 0.3 divided by 0.7. You get this as an answer. Clearly not one of your choices. So you just convert it to a fraction. And you get 3/7. All right, here's a good problem. We actually haven't seen this one before. So at what rate does a cycling plant process in tons per day? Tons per day. All right. Well, you get 1/3, you get tons per minute. So if we do 1/3 over a 1 minute, okay. But the key to this is it's kind of similar to that problem with, going back here, minutes. So this is how many minutes are in an hour. But now we got to figure out how many minutes are in a day. So I know it's 60 minutes per hour. So it's times 24 hours. Okay, so 60 times 24. It'd be 1,440 minutes. Put an X up here. Okay. And I get 480. Okay. Probably the best way to go ahead and do that, setting up that proportion. All right, and we are still moving right along. Remember, at any time, if I'm going too fast, you can always just pause and go back and rewatch. All right, this one we've already done a couple different times. The unit rate, what you're looking for is wherever there's a 1, that is your unit rate. All right, so the answer to this was B. We've seen that on a warm-up a couple times. Number 9 is another scale factor problem. In the scale drawing, 1 centimeter is, so 1 centimeter, 2 3/4 feet. Only way you're going to mess this up is if you put that in the wrong spot. Because it's centimeters, it must go on the top. Okay, and just put it in the calculator real quick. And I get 12 3/8. Cross multiply, divide. All right, number 10. Which statement best describes the meaning of the coordinates of point F? So F is the ordered pair 1, 5, 25. Okay? So it shows the unit rate in hours per mile, shows the unit rate in miles per hour, shows the time in hours it takes the towboat to travel 1 mile, shows the distance traveled in miles by towboat for 524 hours. 5.25 hours. Well, first of all, 5.25 is on the Y, so it's miles. And this is hours, so it's not C or D. Okay, and it shows the unit rate in miles per hour. Number 11. Nick requires 3/4 of a cup of flour and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. He wants to make a recipe using 1 cup of flour. How much salt when 1 cup of flour is used? It's actually pretty much, almost word for word, a very similar problem to the very first question that we did up here. Wanted to know per each cup of water. Well, this is 1 cup of flour, which means flour must go on the bottom and salt goes on the top. So it's just 1 1/8 over 3/4. Okay, so and we get 1 1/2. Okay, moving right along. Which equation can Howard use to determine x, the height in meters of the Statue of Liberty? A model is 15 inches tall. We got 1 inch. 1 inch equals 6.2 meters. Actually, you know what? That reminds me. And I'm going to correct that on this. But we're going to make D that one. So I'm going to change that in the class so that we can, so 1 inch equals 6.2 meters. Okay, 15 inches would have to go on top, x would go on the bottom. We don't have to solve it. All you got to do is match it up. The answer to this would be D. All right, here's a good problem, kind of a realistic one. Notice that I'm not even looking at the table. Let's find out what we need first, because I know sometimes you guys start looking at a table and you don't really catch what you're trying to do. How much more does 1 1/4 pounds of beef cost than 1 1/4 pounds of turkey? Well, if we go back up to our table, beef is $4.25 a pound. So you would take $4.25 and just multiply it by 1 1/4. Okay? Think about when you go to the grocery store and you go to the deli and you get stuff. All right, so this comes out, and we'd have to round it. So this would be $5.31. And then a pound of turkey is $2.85, so we take $2.85, multiply that by 1 1/4. And this is $3.56. How much more? So you just take this and subtract them. So 531 minus 356, and we get $1.75. All right. Second part of this, Brad has $10 to spend at Ruby's. He orders a half pound of sausage and 1 1/4 pound of chicken. How much money will he have left? So basically, they're asking what change is he going to get back when he pays with that 10. So half a pound of sausage. So sausage is $3.25 a pound. So 325 times a half would be $1.60. Actually, $1.63. Because the 5 would make the 2 go up to a 3. And then you've got 1 1/4 pound of chicken. Chicken is $2.50 a pound. So 250, 1 1/4. And this is $3.13. Okay, we would add these two together because they're putting them together on the bill. So this would be 6, 7, 476. And then you take the change, $10 minus 476. I did this a lot in college, so it's $5.24. It's a good problem, but it's realistic. I mean, just think about going to a deli at any point in time. All right, we got to be getting close to being done. Yep, 2 problems left. Okay, like I said, this was going to be a longer video. All right, rectangular floor in a classroom is 36 feet in length, 32 feet in width. A scale drawing of the floor has a length of 9 inches. Okay, what is the area in inches of the floor on the scale drawing? Okay, well, here's what's interesting about this. No picture. So here's what we would do. We would make a picture of a rectangular floor in a classroom that's 36 feet in length, 32 feet in width. We also have a scale where the length is 9 inches. We want to know the area of this. So the area is base times height from our last lesson. Okay. In order to find the base and height, we need this measurement. All right, so we can set a proportion up for this. There's another thing we can set proportions up for. Remember, it's scale over actual. So 9 over 36. Remember, if you use 9, you got to use 36. We can go x over 32. When you cross multiply and divide this, you get 8, which means that this is 8. So now my area becomes base times height, 9 times 8, 72. And then the last one. Does the graph represent a proportional relationship? Why or why not? Well, the graph of the proportional relationship, it's a straight line starting through 0, so the answer is yes. Okay, straight line through 0. Right? So now we know it's proportional. Determine the number of miles it would travel in 5.5 hours. So if we go to, here's 2, 3, 4, 5.5. If you look up here, it's not at a nice crossing point, which means we can't figure it out by looking at the graph. We're going to have to actually do it. So we could also, take any one of these coordinates, and we do y over x, 24,000 over 2. Put 5.5 down here, put x there. cross multiply. And we would get about 66,000 miles. All right, so this concludes the video answer key of our practice test. So this is Mr. Sims signing off.